Okay, so this is called Americanism. Yeah, so a civil religion. So the question is the Trump vote a civil religion? Is the Trump an extension of this kind of religion, or is it new? That's an interesting question. Is this a new form, or an extension of civil religion, or what's going on? Is there something new here? Yeah, go ahead.
They know that half of all Trumpistas are not churchgoers.
Half of what?
Of all Trump voters are not churchgoers. Which, as a church lady, I'm like, hey.
You're not really a Christian? No, not you. But if you're not a churchgoer, you're not a Christian.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
You're waving the church flag, but you're not going to church.
People have been doing that for eons. But yeah, I mean, no, it's a good point. In other words, this religion is what we would call thin religion. Yeah, but it covers a deep, and we'll come to it, a deep sense of what we call religious nationalism, right? So it really, in a sense, like, Eisenhower never went to church.
Right.
So what we'd say is, I don't care what your religion is. You believe in God, you're an American. Yeah. Now that left out, of course, a lot of folks, and we didn't think about those folks until the eruption of the civil rights movements in the 1960s, who forced their way into the conversation by demanding a voice in the conversation. And that's been going on for the last almost 60, 70 years. But this, you know, so what they're arguing is that religious nationalism has its roots in the Old Testament, and this has been sort of woven into the warp and woof of American mythological language, that in some sense or another, the roots of our nationalism is in part harking back. We sort of root back our history into the Old Testament or the Hebrew Scripture, right? The Hebrew Bible, and say, like Israel, we were founded by God, right? So in some deep mythological sense, we can claim this land, we can settle this land in the name of not only Christ, but God. And so, and then, I mean, it gets further, isn't it? Maintaining blood purity by conquest, ethnic separation from the impure, right? So here we are getting into whiteness as the feature of the victor. Yes? You with me on this? Right? And so this is deeply, so they're more or less arguing that this nationalism is calling back to these ancient pieces. And Trump has signaled, how has Trump signaled this feature, even though he seems to be far from unprejudiced towards many people? What did he do for it? What has he done for Israel?
Everything.
Pardon me? Pardon me?
Everything. I mean, the Golan Heights, moving to
Yeah.
Jerusalem. Right.
Right.
Just endless.
So those are all signals, right? That in some form our nation state is divinely rooted in more than simply our divine right as Christians, but comes from the ancient Hebrews, these great covenants. Okay, often this is explicitly evangelical, the importance of separation for the sake of the call, right? Often explicitly evangelical, the importance of the separation for the sake of the call. And this is, this is deeply conflicted, right? What is the history of American evangelicals in Israel? Do you know right? What is the history of American evangelicals in Israel?
They've become good friends.
Good friend? No. Well,
I mean,
no, it's-
the idea of the end of days when Israel would convert to Christianity.
Yes.
That's the day of the Messiah.
The day of the Messiah, the kind of calling forth of these prophecies.
So you can't kill off Israel by other means except at the end of days.
In the days. But what are they waiting for?
Armageddon.
Yeah, well, Armageddon, or that Israel will convert to
Exactly.
the true Messiah, right? So this is not only a religious nationalism, but a deep sense of colonization, of not just America, but of Israel as well. Okay? And if you haven't read that history, so it's, I'm not sure how to describe this, but deeply ironic, right? Or tragic or obscene. But very much part of the evangelical prophetic vision for America. All right? Often linked to racial separation, so often linked to the idea that African Americans in some form or another are not called or not pure as whites are. And so equated racial purity with kind of racial and ethnic exclusion. So it's pretty, I would say pretty nasty stuff we're dealing with, right? Are you with me on this? Yeah.
You know, when you talk about racial separation and African Americans not being, that are not pure. We're Native Americans. We're not pure. I know my family history from way back, and there's one of the things that my family they didn't want to happen was to be totally dissolved to become white. We wanted to keep our history. We wanted to keep our culture, because this is what we were taught when they were taught when they were young. And I have a grandmother whose name is Nancy Sitting Bull, and these are some of the things that we stood by. My parents, they wanted to have so many children so that, we could keep our land forever. And we never wanted to sell any land. And so, we're not pure according to this, but, I think that it just leaves out a whole, if you're not white, what do they say? If you're not white, you're not right.
Great. Well, that's a part of the colonial process, is that you basically erase difference. And whiteness becomes a way of painting over all these differences and excluding them. So, I hate to even talk about this stuff because it's so repulsive, really. That's how that's how I feel. But it's clearly, and a lot, maybe, who was surprised that Trump won the election? Yeah, raise your hand if you're surprised. Yeah, about half of you. Yeah, but it did happen, right? Here's Trump at Liberty University. Here it is. So he was saying it right out in the open. This wasn't secret. This is Liberty University, Jerry Falwell Jr.'s the president of that university. We are going to protect, okay, here it is. Here it is. This is white religious nationalism, basically as a covenant with these people. He's coming out of the closet, as they say. but we are going to protect Christianity. And if you look what's going on throughout the world, you look at Syria where they're, if you're Christian, they're chopping off heads, scare tactics. You look at the different places in Christianity, it's under siege. So he's kind of creating this idea that Christianity is being persecuted and that we must protect it, and that we must build walls, and that only true white Christians are worthy. I'm Protestant. I'm very proud of it. Presbyterian, to be exact. What an obscenity. I mean, I come from the Presbyterian tradition. It's pretty obscene for him to call himself a Presbyterian. But I'm very proud of it. Of what? Do you even know what it is? And we've got to protect, because bad things are happening. Very bad things are happening. You notice how I use this language. And we don't. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's just, this is kooky stuff. We don't band together. Maybe. What? Other religions, frankly, they're banding together. What's that? Other religions. Probably he's talking about Muslims. And they're using it. Using what? I don't know. And here we have, if you look at this country, it's got to be 70%, 75%, some people say even more. The power we have, somehow we have to unify. We have to band together. Our country has to do that around Christianity. Boss. Woo! Okay, so this is white Christian nationalism on steroids. So this is right out in the open, folks. Trump warned the Johnson Amendment, restricting political speech by nonprofits, was kept mostly Christian organizations from supporting their candidates. Here's the Johnson Amendment. It's a false claim, and he knew. I don't even know what Trump knows. Honestly, I don't think he cares. So I wonder if he even knows what the Johnson Amendment is. Trump claims if Clinton elected, no longer a Christian nation. Wow. Okay, so
She was a Methodist.
Yeah, no, I know. I know, no, we're really, but I think we should take this really seriously, in the sense that this is a building movement in America. And Trump wants to slice the pie and force people to one side or another. And he's building the campaign and building his forces. And so Eric Metaxas, who, one of the obscene things about him is that he wrote the book on Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Okay? He did a biography of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer, one of my heroes, who fought against the Nazis and died in doing that. Eric Metaxas says, God will not hold us guiltless if we vote for Clinton. So it's not just, Clinton was or is a white Methodist. So it's the fact that she's a woman is the critical factor in this kind of derogatory nature. Warning Supreme Court, abortion remain legal, religious freedom could disappear. These are scare tactics and causing a lot of people to really say at the last minute, Clinton, Trump. Clinton, Trump. Okay, better. I'll be safe, Trump. I'll be safe. Trump's Christian nationalist rhetoric also expressed a particular eschatology of America's future, and this is also a part of kind of how we live as Americans. To what future are we called? Where shall we be in 20 years? If immigration continues, will we no longer be a white-dominated culture? There's a reason why Trump is using immigrants as what? Scapegoats, right? That's why it's the perfect scapegoat for this kind of white nationalism. Okay?